All right, cool. Welcome back once again to the Cult of Personality podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mikeymcchoppa. And with us today, we are here with a new face, here with a special guest, another clothing brand. No music, man. Personally, I don't care. I've seen Persona. I've seen a couple names thrown around, but also just Zeke. Welcome, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I just want to say first off, thanks for having me. Um, I'm loving what you're doing with the podcast, with the show. I'm definitely glad I'm able to be a guest and add something to the show, at least something. We'll see.
Hell yeah, man. No, man. It's so cool, like, to continue having guests. Like, I'm grateful to continue having guests on the show, but the greatness of I can't just make sure I adjust this real quick. But the greatness of, like, having new guests and having new faces, and the gratefulness that I have towards that is that I continue to add to this network that is this podcast, more creatives, seeing other creatives doing all these other things. So thank you for being here.
Of course. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's do it. I'm hyped. First interview. First podcast. I've been itching to do a podcast because like I don't really be on the I don't really like. I try to let my stuff speak for itself, but like, so it's good to kind of get it out though into the world. So
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
bro. I've always been like a nerd for this kind of content, only for the sake of, like, it's not always easy to interpret everyone's work, so sometimes you need that direct, like, explanation
Right,
for it.
right.
And there we go. Here we are, man. So I like some of your stuff, man. I was checking out your stuff yesterday upon finding your stuff, and I like you're a clever guy. I like what you do with your clothing, man. I like the one with the cow on it. That was dope.
Yeah,
It's like cute
yeah.
and wholesome, but I like it, man. It has like the streetwear vibe to it still. I like it, man.
Right. Now I appreciate that. That was some random shit I had just did on like everything I do. Like there's no like it was on the random tip. Like I just like I think I was just smacked one day, like, and I just fucking just thought of it. I don't know. I seen like an image, and I just like morphed it in my brain. I just seen it. Like everything that I try to make is kind of like I just like see it. Like I have a vision for it, and I'm like I gotta just like put it onto like paper, or, like make it happen. Like I don't know. That's like the biggest thing. So that was fun. That was a fun one to make for sure.
Hell yeah, bro. That's cool, man. I like that you stick to the vision.
Yeah.
Um, with that, I want to talk about kind of like where do your fashion influences come into that? Because you're talking about like the vision and it being like straight from the
Okay.
dome piece. I'm like, man, what is the gas that's fueling that fire?
Honestly, bro, like it's hard to answer that question because I feel like for me it's just kind of like I said, my creative process it kind of has no like guidelines. It's just kind of however like it's kind of however like I feel in that exact moment. Like of course um living in the city like you see certain shit like you like everybody around you like gets fly shit like that. You just kind of pick up on things naturally and you just kind of like add it to your repertoire like subconsciously. You see it and you're like oh like but honestly like if I had to like from it's hard for me to say it's from a direct place. To be honest,
Mhm.
it's kind of like my creative process is just kind of like whatever, like however I feel in that moment, and I just decide to make it. I'm like, and I just make it. Like for example, I could be on a train, I see like the color of a lady's bag, and I'm like, oh, that's lit. How that those kind of like shades bounce off each other. Let me play with that. Or like I'll see a fucking poster, and I'll be like, oh, like the way that graphic looked. Like let me combine this with. Or I see a certain fabric, and be like, oh, that would be cool with this. Like I just be like honestly, my biggest inspiration is just being outside, bro.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
dude, like sometimes dudes be having all these like fucking like made up fucking references. It's like, bro, sometimes you just gotta touch grass, bro. Like you just gotta touch grass and just look up, like look at the sky, bro. Like look around you, like it's a whole ass world out here.
Real
Like you
world
know,
shit,
like
man.
use it, bro. Like use it. So like that's kind of how like that's how I look at it. Like it's just kind of like and then obviously like the trolling aspect, like I'm just a clown in real life. Like I'm always joking. I never take shit serious. So like I try to put that mindset into the shit I make. Like everything's like a fucking joke to me. So it's
Hell
like
yeah. I was gonna ask, I was like, it's funny you say that because I was gonna ask, I'm like, with the real world aspect of shit, where was your influence for that fucking XNXX beanie and shit?
bro, watching porn, bro. Like everybody tries to act like porn is so like taboo. Like, oh my god, he beat his meat. Like, bro, like everybody had a phase with porn, bro. Like, that's not even like we all did it, we all seen it, we all know the fucking porn stars. Like, let's not
Facts.
even go there. You know, like we did.
Be real with yourselves.
Be
You
real, bro.
know, you know. No,
We was there.
personally, I saw the beanie, and the first question that popped up in my head was why that website compared to all the others. Where was you know?
Yeah.
I feel like
Nah, back.
everyone early
Yeah,
on
yeah.
finds their website and they stick to it. I'm like, that one's a niche one. Where did you land
Nah,
on?
it is. No, honestly, bro, because that was like I picked the XNX shit because that was the first website that like being a childhood and like being an adolescent, like 12, 13, when you first hit that age where you first start like discovering porn or being your meat type shit. Like that was the first site that like kind of like helped me like build up to that transition type shit. So that was just kind of like that was kind of like a huge site to me in terms of like discovering porn and shit. So like I was like, yo, you know what? Like
Put that shit
everybody
on a beanie.
yeah, everybody's on the Pornhub wave. Everybody's on the fucking X videos wave. I'm like, bro, let me switch it up. And I kind of just like the layout and the coloring of it and shit. And I just thought it would be funny, bro. Like I just thought it would be funny. And I was like, at first, like, what's funny, like it was supposed to be on a bikini. Like I put it on a bikini. Then I had one of my like one of my female friends model it for me. And like I didn't really, I was like, you know what, like this will be kind of niche. Like it looks cool, but it's a little niche. Like I can't market it the same. So I was like, you know what? Let me put it on a beanie. It's like one size fit all. Everybody can rock it. Like everybody can relate to it. So I kind of like that was my process behind that. But that shit is definitely jokes though, for sure.
Hell yeah, bro. That was cool. I saw that and that was like a piece right there. Like I saw that and it stuck with me to this point right now. I'm like,
Right.
yo, bro, it's cool though. Like it's really dope. That's why I like it. I took note of it. Like I was like, wow, this is like something kind of unconventional. You know, you're taking a taboo subject for some people
Right.
and putting it bam into your fashion. I fuck with that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, and that shit kind of the thing about that hat too. Also, is like I have a love hate relationship with that hat because it's probably like to this day that's probably like the most like requested shit. Like people will see me like, yo, let me get a beanie, da da da, and I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. But like that beanie, like that shit got me banned from running ads. It got me banned off like Facebook Meta, like Instagram. Like there's mad shit I can't do now on social media because of that hat.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like they fucking like the reason I have a brand page, the persona shit, is because it's like I got banned from running ads because they seen the nudity and like the derogatory images and they just
Right.
clip my shit, bro. They boom my shit. And ever since then, like I have to really watch what I post. Like I feel like I'm like a few posts away from getting my whole like main profile like boom, bro. Like I be having to like step lightly because I'm like nah, like so that hat is like as good as that hat is, cool as that hat is, whatever. Like that shit definitely got me like in a situation I can't get out of. So like I've been trying to figure that shit out for like a year and a half now, how I can like get my ads because I'm like permanently banned from running ads. Like that shit's insane.
That's insane. The fact that they can even do that when you're like trying to
Yeah,
like
bro, they
conduct
caught me.
business.
Yeah, they got me, bro. They got me. But it is what it is, though. We climbing back up. I got the brand page, so we gonna make it work. So it's all good.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
not worried.
bro. And so, it's a good conversation, to start off with. There's a meat and cheese of the interview, but I usually like to just start off with, just some random shit off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
But we do have a trademark question for the podcast. It's showcased on the Instagram. I'm sure you've seen it. It goes a little like this. Before I want to clarify with your brand, I saw persona, but then I also see the Instagram username being like personally, I don't care. So I just want to get where the brand. What's the official brand name?
Well, it is persona. Like I added the person you don't care shit just because like I thought it was just funnier. And I thought it was just more like it was just an extended version of the name. Like it's kind of like inside of the name. But
Right.
like I just thought it was like because really I just don't be caring, bro. So I was like, yo, let me change the page name. So I just kind of it's still persona though. Like I might change it in the future. But like for now, that's what it is.
Well, I like that. I like that. I think that's cool, man. That's why I had to ask, like, just to clarify. But like,
Yeah,
I
it
understood
confuses
it.
some people. Yeah,
I understood
yeah,
it. I understood the message. But let me get this burp out real quick. All right. Excuse me. Persona, my boy Zeke. The name, the
yeah,
image, the
yeah,
aura, and the
yeah,
energy.
yeah.
How did it start? How did we get here? And everything in between. Kind of like the whole origin story of this brand. Just give us the rundown.
Yes, sir. I don't know. That's hard. That's hard. I feel like honestly, like I don't know where to start. Like I don't know where I should start. Like honestly, like in terms of just the brand itself, Um, I feel like kind of I guess I'll do it this way. Like I guess kind of like in like middle school and shit like that, and like even a little bit of like high school. I was always into like art and like just like because my biggest thing for me is like what I'm really passionate about is just like creating things like with my imagination, like whatever that is. Like when I was in high school and middle school, I was super into like drawing. Um, I really like to write. Like I write a lot. That's probably like another one of my like big passions is writing. I put a little book out recently. I put that
I
on my
saw
site
that.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got that. I've been trying to like intertwine that with the brand because like I have a big background with writing, so I've been trying to figure out ways to include that. And then honestly, I used to be really big like into videography, like and then like just creative design. Like I was going to school for I went to school for creative writing for like a year or whatever. So I was studying that heavy, and then just like I'm just into the arts. Like I'm just really into kind of like using my imagination to create shit. Like that's just like my biggest thing. So like I was always doing something like creatively before clothes, before I even thought of like let me design shit. Like I was always doing something with like, oh, let me put this here, or like let me put that there, let me do this. So like it was always something, no matter like writing, like videos I was editing, fucking like photography, like making music because I used to make music too. I used to rap too. Like I still do it here and there, but like not as much. So like whatever it is, I just always try to like use my imagination. So I guess I can like that's like a little bit of background. I can start there. So like, cause I've put my hand in a lot of different pots, and then
Which
like in terms
I
of
like that. I like that, and I praise that,
yeah,
especially on the pod. So that's cool that you add that, man. Kudos to
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I like to like it's hard for me to start somewhere, so I guess I'll just start by saying that, and then like in terms of the brand itself, like I don't know. Like I guess I kind of like when I was in middle school, like early high school, I feel like that's kind of when I started to get into like, um, just like all types of music and shit like that. Cause I was a basic ass, like I was always like a goofball in school and shit. And I used to get in trouble and like I would always fucking like, it would always be an issue with me at school or my parents and like getting kicked out. And like, it was always some bullshit. So like, I feel like, um, in like middle school, I was just like all I really did. I was like a class clown, whatever. Like I would get in trouble, whatever. But I didn't really have like I wasn't really like tapped into my, like any artistic side as much. Like I was interested in drawing and this and that, but I hadn't really like I had no outlet for it. Like I wasn't really like I hadn't really like explored it. So I feel like up until I got to like high school, I really was kind of just like a basic kid, like getting in trouble, whatever. But right when I feel like when I hit high school, that's when I started to like get into like different types of music and like I transferred schools and shit. So I feel like just being around like different like cultures because I started out I was at like this all white school and shit, and it was like in a small little like diverse weird suburb town, and then I went to school in like the city. So I feel like when I got to school in the city, like that kind of just opened me up to like different things. And I feel like that was like the start of me kind of like discovering new music, like dressing different, like fucking just opening my mind to like different ideas and shit like that. So I feel like when I transferred, I feel like that was kind of the start of me starting to do that. And then I kind of like I slowly throughout high school, I feel like I just kind of like started tapping in with that side of myself more and more and more and more and more. And then like making clothes wasn't even a thought yet. Like I was a hooper, bro. Like that was me. Like from like I was a hooper, bro. Like I was like ball is life. I'll go to the league. Like nobody could tell me shit. Like I was just bro. Like I was hooping. Like I was like I played on mad different teams and shit. Like I was like practicing training every day. I was like trying out for mad teams. I was fucking like traveling hooping. Like I was just like I was a hooper. So
That's
like
lit.
that goes yeah. So like that goes along with what I said in terms of like my identity at that time was just I was hooping. Like I wasn't like focused on art. Like I had that in the back of my head, but I wasn't really focused on it. But like I said, like in terms of like time passing and just evolving, like once I probably hit like junior, senior year and I started to like um fucking pop out a lot and like go to parties and shit, hang out with like more of my friends and start to like not really focus on basketball as much. Like I feel like that was kind of like a crucial time in me like discovering that like the other sides of my personality and shit. And then like around that time, I was like, okay, like I started to get into really tap into like different types of music, like more heavy, like really dig for music, like really dig for different like art forms, like reading books and shit, like really getting into like my writing and shit. And then when I went to college, like um fucking because I went to school in Iowa, like I went to school in the Midwest, like deep. Like
I
I
was
went
gonna
to like
ask. I was like, where were you before you came
yeah,
over here?
yeah, yes, yeah. That's what I was gonna bring up. So, I went to college in Iowa. Like, I went to like a hippie fucking college. Like, it was like this alternative. It was like this alternative college for like alternative learners and stuff like that. And it was like a hippie school. It was like it was a meditation school, and like everybody meditated and stuff, and it was like in
That's
this
kind of
small
lit.
little. Yeah, it was in this small little town in Iowa, in like the middle of the woods. It was probably like population was probably like 5,000 people, like middle of nowhere type shit. And like I went to school there, and like that kind of opened me up to like, oh, okay, like I'm out the house now, I'm traveling. That was my first time being away from like the East Coast for like a long period of time because I was there
Right.
for like a whole year, and it was far, so I only probably came home like twice maybe. So like that was a big stepping stone too, because I was like, okay, like now I'm like really like out here. So like that was like a moment where I kind of like picked up a lot of different things from like all the people I was meeting because there was like the school had like more international kids than it did domestic. So it was
Right.
kids from like China, like Ethiopia, like Japan, like like Thailand,
That's
like
crazy.
really anywhere Africa, like literally anywhere you could think of, like the UK, like there was kids. So like I kind of was picking up all these different things and just like was becoming more well rounded and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to think of everything that kind of led up to that. And then I came back to I only went for 1 year, and then I got in a little situation when I was there, and then I came back, and then I was in Connecticut, and then I kind of started working, was bullshitting, whatever. And then over the years, I kind of just always kind of like was tapping into my artistic self and stuff like that. But I feel like because I'm from Connecticut originally, like that's where I'm
Hmm.
from. So like I feel like being in Connecticut is kind of just like we have an art scene and we got some talented people. Like I feel like we're starting to like put like people on notice. Like we got some talented people. Shout out all my Connecticut people if you watching this. Shout out everybody from Connecticut. I love y'all. But
It's so
anyway,
funny. It's so funny because like the last two interviews I've done, the two I'm pretty sure both of the dudes have been from Connecticut. So
yeah, let's go. Let's go.
three
That's how
interviews in a row I've had Connecticut. What do you guys call
let's
yourselves?
go, man.
Connecticuters?
You just coined it, bro. I guess so. Like I don't know. I don't think we have an official term.
There
There
you
we
go.
go. Let's
It'd either
coin
be
that.
like that or Connecticuters or like Connecticuters
Sounds
or
like that. Yeah,
Connecticutans.
we gotta get that. We gotta get a petition to get that started. Connecticuters, I like that.
There
That's
you
a good
go.
one. But yeah, so like being in Connecticut, like I said, like we have an art scene, but it's small. So like everybody knows each other type vibe. But I never really had like people around me that was kind of on the timing that I was on. So it was hard for me to really like evolve the way I needed to living in Connecticut.
Hmm.
So like I just always knew like I gotta get out. Like this is probably like I'm thinking like after college, like I went home, I'm like, yo, I gotta like get out of here. I gotta like go somewhere else. Like I just knew I had to leave.
Right.
For to really like flourish, I wanted to flourish. So like um how I ended up in New York is that like this is like 2018. I came back from college or whatever. So I'm like back at home. I'm in like a some dumbass relationship, whatever. And then like I stopped dating her, whatever. And then like I'm just at home bullshitting. Like I'm at home. My fucking parents are on my ass every day. Like, what are you doing? You're gonna get a job? And we're like, what the fuck are you doing? And like this is probably goes on for maybe like a year or so, year and a half. And then I remember when I turned 21, like I started like traveling a lot. I went like overseas. I remember I was like with my cousin a lot because he was like a big traveler. So I was like with him. We went like mad places together. Like I was just always traveling, just getting into something. So like that was the start of me kind of like permanently being out the house. I was just always like gone somewhere. Like this is probably like 2019. And then fucking when that year was over, I had like mad bullshit ass jobs. I was making like no salary. I was just like bullshitting basically. I was bullshitting my way through life. Like I wasn't doing nothing. Had no like I had interest in the arts, but I had no direction. I was just doing whatever the fuck like I felt like I wanted to do. So like it was just I was all over the place. And then like parents on my ass, like, what are you doing? You need to get out. Like if you're not gonna be doing anything, get out. So I'm like, whatever. So like 2020 came, I'm out the relationship. Like it's like the very beginning of 2020, and then like boom, pandemic hits. Pandemic hits. Whew, goes
Crazy
crazy,
time. Crazy
crazy. So
time.
like I'm like, all right, bet. So like now I'm like really in the crib. Like I'm in the crib, bro. Like crib type shit. So like it was so weird how it happened. It's funny how I asked about the origin because like it was so weird how it happened because like I feel like the beginning of 2020 was like when I was in the crib, like those moments where I was just like, okay, I'm stuck in the house. Like I really started because I kind of knew like the whole like I was following the whole like underground like fashion scene like music. I was at that point I like knew I was
Right.
following it, so I was familiar with like the people and shit, and I would like have them on Instagram and whatever. So I seen what people were doing, but I wasn't really like making clothes myself. Like I seen like the ass pizzas and shit what they were doing. I would follow like these different people, like Kerwin and all these people, these early people, that I was like looking after. But I never wasn't doing anything myself. So like um around that time, like 2020, I started to just like really get into like what these people were doing. Like I was looking at like all different. I would watch all these different type of like just like little streetwear vids and shit, and I was just like seeing all these little like funny videos, and I was just watching different like Instagrams and really just researching. I was just really just became like a student of this shit. I was just like I had so much time on my hands that I just like really took a liking to like the whole like streetwear scene and shit like that. And I was like, yo, this shit. It was just cool from like an outside perspective of like, yo, like it's just like a movement. You know what I mean? Like I want to
Right.
like it was just a movement. So like that's just how I looked at it. I wasn't even thinking about like really making stuff yet. So like um the way I even started making clothes was funny because like so it's the beginning of 2020. I'm starting to really get into like these different things because I'm like I have more time on my hands. And then I don't know if you remember like the George Floyd incident. Like remember the whole George Floyd thing happened. Like everybody's going
How could
crazy.
anyone in America
Bro,
could
right,
forget
right.
that,
Literally,
right?
literally that shit was insane. So like how that happened, like so the whole George Floyd thing happened, like everybody's going crazy, there's like mad protests. So one day, like I was just in my bed, just like sitting there, like in my bed, and I was smacked. Like I was smacked. I had just psyched, I got back in the crib, whatever, and I was smacked, and I sat on my bed and I thought just popped in my head. And I was like, yo, like this like design for a t-shirt came in my head. And I was like, yo, I should make this like because I kind of felt bad about the incident. Like I was like, yo, like I feel like I should like do something and maybe play my part. Like let me use my little like imagination, creativeness to kind of like do something. So like
Right.
I'm in my bed sitting there and I
Respect,
come up with this like
respect.
yeah. So I'm like, yo, let me try to like add something to this shit. And we all had time because it was COVID, so like we're all at the crib. So I'm like, yo, like I'm sitting there and I come up with like this t-shirt idea in my head. And it has like break the cycle on it. That's what it said on it. And it had like cops with like pigs on it, and it had like a like diagram of like a cycle. And like I put it on a shirt, and I was like, yo, like, I don't know where that idea came from or how I thought of it, but I was like, yo, like I'm gonna put this on a shirt, and I'm gonna just at first I just drew it. I was like, yo, let me just draw it like on a shirt. I can paint it on some like DIY shit, and I'm gonna give it to a few heads and like see if people like it, and I'll like sell it, and I'll give the money towards like organization or like GoFundMe or like whatever it is. I just wanted to do something to like add to it, right? So like I made this shirt. I gave it to probably like three people, maybe, and then I like flicked them up, whatever, did like a little shoe, and then I posted it on like my page. I don't have the shirt on my page no more, but like
Man,
this is like early, this is
that
like spring
sounds
2020.
that
Yeah,
sounds
this is like
fire,
around this.
man. Bring
Yeah,
it
it's
back.
like around this exact time, but like 2020. So like I posted a shirt, whatever, and then mad people were like, "Yo, that shirt's lit." Da, 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 da. So then I just started like making a bunch of them, and I was selling them for like probably like $5 a piece, whatever. Like $5, I was selling them. And then like people just kept asking, I started going crazy. And then I ended up printing them because like I had no idea how to like print shit or like how to get this actually this image uploaded. Like I had no clue. So like I was just
Right.
researching like yo, print shop near me. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So like I went to the print shop, got them printed, like started like just selling them like hotcakes, like going crazy. Like I don't remember how much bread I made exactly, but like they were all like $5-10. So like I was making like, and I sold a bunch of them. I have an old picture with me with like I got because I was putting them in like grocery bags after folding them with all the orders. I had like sticky notes on every order to like
Right.
put the name. I wasn't professional. I didn't have no fucking like I didn't have no
Yeah.
like I didn't have no shipping labels or nothing. So I was just putting names on like post-it notes. And then I have a picture with me with like mad bags around me, and I have just like post-it notes on every bag of like everybody's name. And I remember like I didn't have a site either, so like I had a car in Connecticut at the time, so I was just driving to every person individually and dropping them off,
With the shirt.
with the V. Like I remember I had like I don't know if it was my car or my mom's car I had took, and I was just like driving around, just like dropping them off to people's cribs individually, like in person, like just get it off the
Yo,
bus.
like, yo,
Drop it
that's
down.
like serving motherfuckers, but you
Yeah,
with
yeah,
t-shirts
yo,
instead of bud.
serving the pieces, bro. Serving the garments. Come get this work. Come
I
get this
respect
work.
that. That's
You know what I'm saying?
fire.
So it was like I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I was just trying to hustle and find a way, keep myself occupied. Like I was bored and shit. And I wasn't working at the time, so I was like, yo, this was a way to like get some little bit of extra money on the side. So like when that whole protest like went on and the whole like George Floyd situation when that ended, like and I had sold the shirts, like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, yo, like if that went crazy, like let me start seeing what else I could like come up with. You know what I mean? So that's where it really all started, was from, which is funny, like from the George Floyd protest. If it wasn't for that George Floyd protest and like COVID happening, like I don't know if I ever would have ended up like getting into making clothes. Like that was like the starting point. That like sparked everything. So like
That's
when I
so
did
lit,
that,
man.
yeah, so I did that and I was like, yo, like let me see like where I could take this. Let me try to like mix this up. So like um I feel like I slowly started to like kind of like try different stuff. And then I made this hoodie. I made this one hoodie right after that, probably like a month or so later. It had this, and it's not on my page either. I should unarchive it. It's like this hoodie where it says like
Bro, you
save.
should bring the t-shirt
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. I gotta
need
bring it
one. I need
just for the
one.
history. Yeah, I gotta. I think I got some at my like crib in CT. I think I might have like maybe like one laying around somewhere. But I made this other hoodie that said "Save the Endangered" on it, and it had like mad endangered species and stuff like that. So that was like another hoodie that like was going crazy in terms of like people wanting it. And but like at first, I kind of was doing just kind of like things that were kind of just like for good causes and like to raise awareness, stuff like that, because
Yeah.
that's just kind of what the type of time I was on at the time, like the wave I was on. So I was like, yo, let me do this. So that hoodie like was another thing that like went crazy. Like people liked it a lot, but I still had no like business. I wasn't like, I didn't have a site, I didn't have like nothing set up. It was just kind of like me just like putting stuff out. So but it was no like efficiency to it. So like so that happened. So that like those two things, like I made those two things. And then I guess kind of to like go into another chapter. What happened right after that is that like I was in Connecticut. I was still in Connecticut. I still didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. I was still just kind of like bullshitting, doing things here and there. And then my cousin that I had brought up before, my shout out Malcolm. If you're watching this, shout out my cousin Malcolm. That's my twin right there. He get on my fucking nerves, but that's my twin. So like he was working. I don't know if you know. So have you been to Rhode Island before?
No, I've never been like north of New York. That's like where the
North of New
line
York?
like
Oh yeah,
I've been south of New York. I've been to the west. I've never been up. So no Rhode Island, no Maine, no nothing like that.
yeah. So that's why. Yes, that's why most people haven't been. That's why I asked. So my cousin, because he's just like a traveler, he does all kind of different things, and he kind of knows about like all these different little like low key things and jobs, shit like that. So like he was living in Rhode Island at the time. And this is like another little side note is that like at around this time, remember I said I had like a bunch of bullshit jobs. Like I was cooking, I was working in like kitchens, I was like a line cook and shit like that. I had mad like line cook jobs. I remember I worked in like a warehouse at one point. Like I was doing mad just like restaurant jobs and like warehouse stuff, like little bullshit jobs just to keep myself like afloat. And then like over from like the time I graduated college to 2020, I was just doing that. And then like he lived in this place called Block Island, and like Block Island is like this island. Some people know about it, some people don't. It's like kind of like Martha's Vineyard. It's like this island, this mini little island off of the coast of Rhode Island. So it's like
Okay.
once you get to Rhode Island, yeah. So once you get to Rhode Island, you got to either take like a boat to get there or like a private plane, like a small little mini cargo plane. The plane fits like 10 people. You got to
Yeah.
either take the cargo plane or you got to take like an hour and a half, 2 hour boat ride. So he was living on the island at the time because it's like a vacation island. It's called Block. You can look it up after this. It's called Block Island. It's a vacationer spot. So they basically have like a bunch of bars, a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of little like cool things that you could do, and it's like surrounded by the beach. They got like little jet skis you could ride. They got a lot of little like nice restaurants and shit you could eat at. So
That's
it's really like a
crazy.
yeah, it's like a vacationer spot, and it's like low key, and not even that many heads really like know about that shit. So like, my cousin was living because my cousin like he for a lot of his life he was a bartender. So like he was bartending on the island. So he told me about it. He was like, "Yo, like you should come to Block Island, get a job at Block Island." Um, and I wasn't doing nothing at home. Like COVID's whole Connecticut was locked down because of COVID. So like I couldn't do nothing anyway. So I was like, yo, like let me just come. So I just pulled up. Like I remember I went to the island because I was cooking, so they had a lot of restaurants. So I applied for one of the restaurants. Um, I remember it took like a week or so for them to get back to me. I was like going back and forth to the island like once a week just to try to like apply to all these. Cause I was desperate to get out of the
Jeez.
crib. Me and my
Yeah.
mom was like, me and my mom was getting into it like every day. Like my dad was on my ass. Like
I've
I
been
just
there,
didn't.
bro. I've
Yeah,
been
bro. I
there.
just didn't fuck with what was going on, and I was like, yo, like I got it. I was like desperate. Like I was like, yo, I'll do anything to get like out of this crib and just kind of like separate myself because there was just too many problems going on. Like in Connecticut. I was like, I had to get out the house. So like I was just fiending to just like get this job. So then they finally got back to me. I got the job. Like I remember like I told my mom, I was like, I'm out. Like I'm going to Rhode Island. Like I'll let you know how it goes. Like I'm out. Like I dipped, like got a bag, whatever. Like and then I just went to the island, paid my little bread, like went on the boat, like got to the island, got the job, and I literally like moved in that day, and I was just there. And this was probably like 2020, like summer now, because it's more of a summer spot. Like it's all year round, but it's really popular like in the summer.
Yeah, I can only imagine how cold it is up
Yeah,
there
it's like
in the
seasonal.
winter.
Yeah, but it's a little ass island. But like some people like are from there, like grow up there. So it's but like during like I would say from like April, May to like November is like when it's the most like most things happening. So like I moved there, whatever. And I'm like, yo, I don't know what's going on, whatever. But like I'm gonna stick it out here. So it's like an island. I get there, my cousin's there, whatever. Um, so I get there, I get the cooking job, whatever. And it was like being there was like so crazy, bro. Like it was so crazy. It was fun, but it was also miserable at the same time because like I remember I had this cooking job and like I worked with all these like cooks that I didn't really like fuck with like that. And then like I ended up like getting into it with them. And then it was just like I was like the youngest kid in there. So everybody was looking at me. I was working with a bunch of like 30-year-old coke heads and shit. And like I remember like I was going to work every day, like I hate this shit. I remember like I was working like crazy hours because my friends who I met on the island, they had like cooler jobs. Like they had like working at like the surf club or working at like um the motorcycle shop or
Some lit
working at like
shit.
working at the beach lifeguard. Like, like they had the lit jobs and I was over here in the kitchen slaving away, whatever. So like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so how that happened was so I was in Rhode Island, whatever, I was slaving away. I was working like 6 days a week, like 13-hour shifts for a probably like a 6-7 month period, like going like slaving, bro. And I remember my apartment that I was living in because they when you work on the island, they provide you housing too. So like I was on the island, I had housing. I was living with like 5, 6 other like chefs, like other cooks. I remember the crib I was living in was like on the bottom floor. I remember it like stank. It was dirty. I remember like bro, I lie, I shit you not. There was like every type of bug in there. There was like cockroaches, ants, like flies in the room, bro. I remember like I was living with like crackheads, like meth heads in the crib because like I had different roommates throughout the year, and
Yeah.
I remember like the room was just like, and then I remember under one of the beds had like a leak in it. It was like mad water coming out from like a puddle, and then I remember what else was crazy about that room. But yeah, and I remember like I would have my clothes in the drawer and I would open them up and there was like mold in the drawers and shit. And then one of the bathrooms had like a shitty toilet that was clogged up that nobody would fix. So like in the door of the bathroom was cracked. So like the shit smell would just come through the room and I would have to keep the door
Holy
shut.
shit.
I remember my bed was literally, bro. I'm not making this up. My bed was literally, I had a twin bed and it was on crates. It was like 4 crates, 5 crates, and I had no bed spring. It was like or no like pillar to support the bed. My bed was on like 5 crates on a twin. And then I remember I got my little TV from back home and I like put it on my TV on a crate and I plugged it in and I was like watch my little shows and shit. But bro, that shit was hectic, bro. And I was living like that for like 6, 7 months in a stinky room. But the reason I bring that up is because um that time period, like as crazy as that was, like that was a time where like I was really getting into like designing because I remember I had a notebook and like I said, I was working crazy hours. Like when I would get off of work, I would just be tired. So I would just go home and then like I had my this little notebook and I was like every night I would just like draw up mad little designs and shit like that. Like every night I would just like draw up designs, draw up this, draw like I would always think of new stuff. Like I still have the same notebook to this day, like that I draw stuff in now. The same I can go back and see all the like
That's
first
so
designs
cool,
I
man.
made. Yeah, so like that was really the start of me kind of like really getting into seeing what I can create and like different graphics and trying to really experiment with like yo like that was when I really like nurtured like my like designing like the craft of like designing like okay like let me like draw this up and like how does this look on this shirt like playing around with different like texts and like drawings and like patterns on this and like that was the start of that was like because I was coming home every night just go straight to my notebook so like that was like that's kind of how I could say like that kind of the whole like me wanting to make a brand started like with that period of me being in Rhode Island like that was like a crucial like as crazy as that time was it was crucial into me like starting to design and then like how I got to New York is that like funny enough like because like when I was on the island I made a few friends Like it was some people that my cousin knew, and I became friends with them. And then while I was there, like we had got close and shit like that. So like, and then a couple of them are from New York. And I never, and like mind you, I never thought about like moving to New York. I never thought about. I was just making stuff. I never like that wasn't at this point. That wasn't really a thought in my head. I was just
Right.
like, yo, let me make stuff. Yeah, let me make stuff, see where it goes. I never like I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't think it was possible. So like,
It sounds very
we
far fetched until it
yeah,
happens.
bro. Like when you know, it's funny too because I remember growing up, I was always like, yo, cool to live in New York, but like the older you get, you're like, dang, it's like it seems like it's like just like a fantasy. Like it doesn't seem like it could actually happen. So like, um, I remember these dudes came like because we had got close. I remember like towards the end of the season when we were all about to like move back because the season was only lasted a certain time, like until like November, and then I'm not gonna stay in Block Island the whole year, so I was gonna
Right.
dip, but I didn't know what I was gonna do next. So like towards the end of the summer, um, these dudes approached me and they were like, "Yo, like we're thinking of all getting like a crib together in New York, like an apartment." And I was like, "Yo, like," and mind you, I was working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, so I was just stacking bread, going home every day, just like drawing. Like I wasn't going out like that. Like here and there, I would go out, but like definitely had some nights in Black Island. But for the most part, like I wasn't like I was just focused. I was just like working, um, going home, like showering, just having my same routine every day, just drawing in my notebook, like just building that up. So like I had just stacked hella bread. So when they were like, yo, like we're thinking of moving, like by the end of the summer, like I had the money. So I was like, yo, like if you guys figure out like the details and shit, like I'm down, like I'm with it. And I know I'm not trying to go back to CT. So I'm
Right.
like, yo, like this is the start. So that was really the start of me kind of like venturing off on my own. And like from Block Island on, like I never looked back. Like I haven't lived in Connecticut since. So they were like, yeah, let's get the crib together. So I'm like, all right, bet, like let's get the crib, whatever. So like the end of the summer comes, and it's probably like late November. End of the summer comes. I'm like focused on this plan, like, yo, we're going to New York, like let's do it. And the summer comes, everybody backs out. Everybody bails out for some reason. Everybody has some type of excuse or like, oh, like I didn't have the bread or I gotta wait or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I'm like, oh my god, these dudes. So like I'm the only one that I'm like the only because there was like 4 or 5 of us that were gonna move together. So
Right.
I'm like the only one that kind of still wants to go. And I had the money and I was like, yo, like I'm weighing my options. I'm like, go back to Connecticut, go to New York. I was thinking about Atlanta too, moving to Atlanta because Atlanta has a big little scene too. And I knew like a couple heads down there. So I was like, should I go to Atlanta? So I was like debating a few options. Knew I didn't want to go home. So then I started to really just like look at apartments in New York. And I really just got deep into like research. And then I found something. And then like I remember I had my bread and I went back to Connecticut for maybe like a few weeks. And then I found my apartment and I was gone. Like I remember it was right after Christmas. It was Christmas Day actually. It was Christmas Day 2020, like going into 2021. Like that was around the time I found my apartment. And that's when I told my mom I was leaving on Christmas. Like we got up Christmas, whatever, had Christmas, whatever. And I told her, I was like, yo, like I'm leaving. Like I moved to New York. And she's like, to New York? Like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, like I found a spot, like I got the money, like I'm leaving. Like, I'm going to New York. And she's like, oh, like, oh, she's like, oh, you're gonna go to New York, and I'm like, I need to do this. Like, I'm about to just dip. Like, I'm out. Like, and I told my sister whatever. And then like I remember the moving day was like the 3rd of January or something. So I literally was there for like a few more days, dipped, and then like it kind of flowed perfectly in terms of like when I started making my brand and designing clothes into like me being in Rhode Island, into me kind of like spending all them nights in my notebook to like me moving to New York. Like it kind of like it just happened seamlessly. Like everything like went into the next every moment. Like it
Everything
was
fell
like
into
domino.
place.
Yeah, it was like dominoes, bro. Like I can't like that's why I kind of like I can't even like make this shit up. Like it was literally like dominoes. Like it was like boom, boom, boom. Like everything needed to happen in order for me to like get to New York and for me to kind of like get to that next phase. So like I ended up getting to New York and then just like I got there. I didn't know anybody. I had like probably like a couple $1,000s to my name. I didn't know anybody. I was living in this little like shoebox apartment in Ridgewood. It was like $700 a month, like little shoebox. Like I was just here. I was like, oh, like I'm here. So like um from that moment on, I kind of just like, and I've been here for 3 years now because I was 3 years ago. So like from that moment on, I kind of just like I just kind of was immersed in the city. Like I just kind of had to learn shit for my own. I had to learn how to move out here, how to not move, how to like what to do, what to not do, who to become cool with. Like so, it's just a lot of like. So I guess
So
I can pause it there. I guess I can pause it there and kind of that's kind of how that's how I got to New York, and then that's kind of how that happened. And in terms of me making clothes, I feel like I just kind of like I was already making clothes at that point. Like I started to like get my website going when I moved to the city, and then I started to kind of like pick up things along the way. And then like every year I've been here, I feel like I just kind of like added mad things to like my bag in terms of just like the way I design. Like my design style definitely evolved over the years just from like being here, you know, and seeing things and being around people and just kind of like my friends too. Like my friends inspire me more than anybody. Like I'll choose one of my friends' brands any day over like any of these Balenciaga. Like bro, like shit is overrated. So like
You know,
that's the
in the fashion world, I hear Balenciaga is still brought up so much, and like I feel like everyone overlooked that they had that crazy like advertisement with like that child
yeah, with the
predator
shot,
shit.
yeah, bro. Like you think you really think we didn't see that? Like
You
really, you
know?
really gonna act like nothing happened? You know?
Yeah.
But
And
I don't know. It's that's a whole nother thing. That's why I'm like, I stay in my lane. I'm gonna stay independent. I'm gonna stay
yeah,
independent.
that's it.
It's
Yeah,
not,
man.
yeah, but I guess that kind of is how I got to New York. I gave you the origin and the background. That's kind of how I got to New York and how I started like designing. It all kind of like went into each other. So
That's
that's kind of
cool.
how that's how
I'm
that happened.
glad. I'm glad that that whole story was intertwined. It made it like super cool. Like also like
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
you explained it all very well and smooth enough to where it was like very cinematic to just imagine it all. So for
yeah.
those
Right.
listening and those watching, that's
Right.
cool. But man, kudos to you for being an outsider and coming to New York and adjusting so quick. I mean, uh, it's funny because I could resonate with some of like some parts of your story, man. I lived in like fucking upstate New York for some time, and then I moved back over
Mhm.
here. Before I was in upstate New York, I was over here. So like that adjustment shit, bro, it's real. Even being a
Right,
New
right,
Yorker, you have to adjust to New
right,
York. So
right.
I fuck with that. But I wanted to ask about you talk about starting in that 2020 pandemic era, a lot of
Mhm,
like activist political sourced or like initially your work was very political and very
mhm.
activist based or very like good cause based. Where did the direction of your stuff go moving forward from there, kind of like moving to New York and stuff like that? How did that have an effect on the what was going on in the clothing?
Now that no, that's a good question. That's something that I feel like that's a good question. That's something that I think about a lot because I remember like those first few pieces, I was just making what I was just kind of making, and it goes back to earlier when I said like sometimes like I'm just influenced by things around me. Like that was going on at the time. So I was like, yo, how can I apply like my creativeness to what's going on right now? Like that was kind of the headspace I was in. I was like, yo, like let me like make this and then let me um when it came to the animal thing, I'm like, oh, let me like because I used to because the reason why I did that is because honestly, because like the thing that I think that I used to do that I still do, like I would just get high and I would just watch like mad nature shit, like mad nature documentaries, mad like Blue Planet. I seen all the nature documentaries, like Blue Planet, like all of them, bro. Like I think there's one called like Now World, like literally just all of them. So like that was a big activity that I used to do, like a hobby that I had. So like when I made that hoodie, it was kind of like I kind of made it to commemorate that too, because like I was into animals for real. Like I wasn't just making that up. So like that was kind of why I did that. But in terms of shifting, when I got to New York, I feel like I just kind of like I kind of like I knew I wasn't gonna always make like politically like driven clothing. I knew that was just kind of like that would end at some point. Like I knew it was just kind of like it was like a piece by piece thing. Like I
Right.
wasn't gonna do that forever. So like I knew I wanted to transition into like making some more like regular stuff for like an everyday person or like some streetwear stuff. So I think I think when I got to New York and I kind of got a moment to just like sit and look around and see like what people were doing and just kind of like and mind you I was making designs this whole time. So I think in between those like politically driven pieces and then the time that I got to the city, I had been drawing all these designs in my notebook. I remember I came up with like 5 different brand names and stuff like that. So in between that time I was doing all this. So I knew I was gonna make that transition eventually. Like I knew it was coming. I just didn't know how to do it. So um like when I got to the city, I started doing some more stuff, and then I think that I'm trying to remember like the first thing that I made that like wasn't political. I can't. I have to like look back and like see what 'cause I honestly like I feel like I make so many things that like I just can't. Sometimes I can't even remember. I don't even
I
remember
feel you.
my own life story, but I know I'll be able to. I think I had made this like hoodie.
It's honestly like being a podcast host for 1 second, like, bro, it's really impressive how you motherfuckers can like you know you right now, but also like people in the past. I've made me think like, bro. The fact that y'all can recite your lives like so well, even like if it's just event by event, like I'm like shit, y'all are better than me. If you
Yeah.
watch, oh my god, bro, I did an interview for my own podcast that I had my friend like guest host, bro, and I feel like in that shit, I was like, damn, I don't know how to explain anything going on right now. I thought the shit was a piece of cake. It's not.
Right. No, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, it's definitely like my mind. And mind you, this is me. This is me like after working all day, so my mind's a little like my mind's not fresh right now. But like, but no, I'm looking. Okay, yeah. So what I was doing at that time, like I was making a lot of DIY stuff. When I first got to the city, I was like painting on a lot of like canvases and stuff. I was doing a lot of DIY stuff because I didn't know how to like make clothes. I didn't know how to print. I didn't know how to like use like Photoshop. I didn't really know. I didn't have no technical skills, so I was just kind of like I was kind of just like making things with my hands. Like I was making like if you go back to my like early stuff, which I kind of like archive a lot of it, but like my early stuff is just a bunch of like DIY and a bunch of like just like craft stuff, a bunch of shit that's like upcycled. Like I was painting on stuff. I was doing a little bit of like graffiti here and there. So like, and around that phase, so that was like the beginning of like me transitioning from making like political stuff to like more like streetwear esque stuff. So like that was like the transition, like when I started doing a lot of DIY. And then when I started playing around with the DIY, I started doing that a little bit more. Um, like shortly after that, I kind of got into like printing little like t-shirts and hoodies here and there. I was like, okay, like how do I was like I would draw like graphics and I would have like a graphic designer like make the vector file for me or whatever, and then I would like digitize it, and then I would just like go to a print shop, print it on a shirt. So now I started doing that. So now I was like, okay, like now I'm starting to like print
Get the
graphics on
gist.
shirts. Yeah. So like, and then I remember my first like drop where I had like a graphic was probably like, it was probably. It was probably yeah, it was February. Yeah, it was like early 2022. So like this is like a year later. So that whole first year I was in New York, I kind of was really on like the DIY wave. I wasn't really like printing nothing crazy yet. And then the next year, started February, that's when I kind of started to like really started like transition into like getting clothes printed and really having like higher, like better quality stuff. So that
Right.
was kind of like when I started that. And then it kind of just kept going up from there. Like every year, and the months that would pass, and then I remember I would do like little photo shoots here and there with like people, like girls that I was meeting, or like my friends that I would meet. Like I would just try to do little photo shoots and stuff. And then that's kind of how I transitioned from like doing. So I kind of went from political stuff to DIY, goofy stuff to like getting like shirts and hoodies printed. So then that was like the transition of how I got to there. And then I think like couple months after that, that's when I first dropped the beanie, the X and X beanie. So that I would say that phase of like getting to the going from DIY to print to the beanie, that was when I kind of like that's when I kind of started to go to the direction that I'm in now. Is that phase of like I would say like early like spring summer 2022. That was when I started to like transition into like how my clothes look now. So like that was the first that beanie was the first like item I dropped. I was like, yo, this is like the first thing where I'm starting to find my like my design style. Like I'm starting to find my like my niche. Like that was the beginning of that. So.
Hell yeah, man. I gotta also ask, in all of this, in you creating the brand, and how did the name Persona come to be?
So like I feel like so I made that name when I was in Rhode Island in my room, just like jotting stuff and drawing stuff. That's when I made that name. So that name kind of came from like I always felt like because a persona, like by definition, what a persona is kind of just um it's kind of almost like an ego. It's like someone's best version. It's like how someone views the best version of themselves. Like when you ever
Right,
hear someone say like, "Oh, he puts on this like tough persona," you know what I mean? It's tough persona.
right,
Like the reason that people are doing that is because that's kind of how they see themselves. They see themselves as that tough, relentless person. So that's why like they're not doing that for no reason. So I kind of wanted to flip that in terms of like, yo, like to me, a persona should be just like about like maximizing like your own potential. Like be the person that you set out to be. Like maximize that. If you
right,
see yourself as a tough person, as someone that's like confrontational, then kind of like develop yourself and kind of like learn those skills and become that person. Become who you want to be. Don't put on a front. It's not about putting on a front. It's just about like be who you actually want to be and be who you actually are. So like
right.
that's kind of how just be yourself. That's kind of like what it meant to me. Like I kind of I like flip the definition. So that's kind of what, and I write about a lot of that like in the book that I wrote. So that's kind of like where I was coming from with the name.
Oh yeah,
But
man. It's kind of like it's not worth
the
faking it
poetic
unless you
shit.
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, you gotta just like just vibe.
I
Just
like
vibe.
that. I like that message, man. I always like the message of
Yeah,
like authenticity within art, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Because
So yeah,
I don't
that's
think
that's the biggest thing.
hell yeah. I don't think you can have a lot of art without authenticity. So that's what's up. Um, I gotta ask as well, with the sake of the clothing brand and your other art styles as well, because you kind of got the timeline of the clothing brand, but you said you
Hmm.
do bits of writing. You say you've done things outside of clothing, such as music or whatever. So I want to ask not only where do these other art forms come into the timeline, more or less, but also what encouraged you to then like merge your creative outlets, such for example as putting your writing into your brand, clothing brand, and such as things like that.
Right, and that's a good question. So, yeah, like when I first started, the reason, like I remember you asked earlier, like how I even started making the clothes. Like the reason, I know I went over this before, but like, um, I already kind of like, cause growing up, like when I started to like move high schools and really find my fashion sense, I feel like I was like thrifting all the time, and I was always wearing like baggy clothes and like wearing hand me down stuff and like things like that. So I already kind of had an interest in like collecting clothes and like wearing different like pieces. I remember like one of my funnest hobbies was just going to the thrift on the weekends. I remember I would like beg my mom to like bring me to the thrift on the weekends, and I would just like be there for hours, just like finding mad like old like Tommy, like old like polo, like um old like Nautica Rockaware, just whatever I could find. Just like that was like a hobby of mine, like old Ed Hardy, like all type of stuff. I was just like trying to come up on. So that was kind of like how my background with that was. And then like I said, I always kind of had I liked kind of creating things with my imagination. So I kind of put the two things together. Like I liked clothes and I like creating things with my imagination. So I just combined them and just started making clothes. And then like kind of with the other outlets, it just was like I always had my hand in different pots. I always was drawing from a young age. So like, because all my designs to this day, I draw them. I don't like I draw them out first, and then I like upload them or whatever. But like it kind of just like I just like a lot of different things. Like I really like the writing stuff. I really like. I always been like writing. I'm really into like videography in high school. Like I really studied videography a lot. Like that's something I want to get back into too. I'm trying to like really do now. I'm trying to incorporate that with my brand too, and then kind of the videography stuff, the writing stuff, even photography I really like. So it's just a lot of different things. And honestly, like with the clothes, like making the clothes, like it's not really my end goal. Like I as much as I like designing stuff and like creating like clothes and putting different pieces together, like that's really not my end goal. I really just want to design in general. Like I really want to make like I want to do like architecture and design like buildings. I want to do like design like furniture, like make like home appliances. Like I'm trying to like use my creativeness like for everything. Like I want to make a fucking I'll make my own drink. Like you know what I mean? I just want to like I just want to like create different things with my brain, and I feel like it doesn't stop at clothes. Like clothes is just the vibe I'm on right now, but it's like it don't stop there. So I'm just
Hell
really
yeah.
just I'm just everywhere with it. That's the best I can say.
With such a strong urge to create, I gotta ask, or I'm curious even to where do you feel like you realize like I'm meant to create? You know, like where you realize like, damn, I'm good at this shit, or damn, like this shit's calling to me. Like in
Mhm.
your youth or whatever.
I feel like no, that's a good question too. I feel like kind of like it's like I said, like it goes back to like being in like middle school and stuff like that. I feel like because a lot of my friends that I was around at the time, like I still some of my friends now, but like I was just kind of like a hoop head, like I was hooping whatever. And it kind of all my friends, that's kind of all the association it really was. Like we were just
Yeah.
hooping, chilling, like whatever it was, like. But there would be time like when I would go home and I was by myself, like there was a extra layer to me that like in terms of music and art things like that I didn't really explore when I was just around that age because I didn't have no friends that were into shit like that. So I kind of was just like always on my own in that aspect. I never had, like I said before, I never had no outlets for like art and creativeness and things like that. So it was really just sports. Like that's all I was really focused on. And then once I hit like 17, 18, that's when I kind of started to like really dive into that side of myself. So I feel like I always kind of had that creative side, but I never could really express it because I wasn't around those types of people. I never had no creative outlet or no influence. Like I kind of just was kind of like it was like caged inside of me, if I like type vibe. So like when I got a little bit older and started really to like find myself and really define that side of me. I feel like from there it was just like just opening up more and more. Like the older I got, I just opened up more and more and more and more and more. Like I wish I could tell you I was some like art prodigy from the age of 7, but like that's definitely not how it went. That's definitely not how it went. So like it just kind of came from that. And then I feel like my mom, like she always kind of drills this into me too, because my mom's like mad spiritual and mad she's like a Buddhist, and she like meditates, and she just reads like mad books. She has like all these different psychics that she goes to. Like my mom's like mad, like she's mad spiritual. So like she'll always give me some little juice, like, oh, you're like meant to be doing this, and like you're exactly where you need to be. And like so she's a person that I feel like she drills that into me a lot too. Like she keeps me focused too, because she always reminds me like, yo, like this is what as crazy as, because my life be getting crazy out here. Like she's like every day is crazy. She's like, yo, like as crazy as it gets, like just remember like you're exactly where you need to be. So like she kind of like is another person that will like keep that like that reinforcement in my head. So like but I just feel it. I don't know, you can just feel it. It's just a vibe. Like, you just feel the energy of like no matter what happens in life, like I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing in this moment. Like I just you just kind of like I don't think like the universe makes a lot of mistakes. I just don't. Like I just think like the universe has strange ways of working, but like everybody is where they are for a reason. Like the universe has its own plan, like outside of our plan. So I really believe that. Like so I don't ever like and any bad thing that's happened to me, bad experience, bad like lesson that I had to go through, like I wouldn't like erase none of it, you know? So like
Oh
that's
yeah.
how I feel. That's how I feel, and that's kind of how I like got to where I'm at now, just from trying to like do a lot of different things, and I just like a lot of different things. I'm gonna keep like adding stuff. I'm gonna keep keeping an open mind. I'm gonna keep trying to like branch my clothing brand off with like different things, and I want to do like installations and all type of stuff I'm trying to do. So I don't know. I know I want it all around the world, but I hope that answers the question.
No, it absolutely does. Oh, 1 second. I just got a little burp. Another one. There we go. But excuse me. Anywho, what I wanted to ask now, moving forward, is now that we got a lot of like past and present stuff kind of out the way. Clothing wise, coming back to the brand, and also we could also take that question and apply to your other creative things as well. But right now, just for the brand, we talk about moving away from the political stuff and moving now towards where you are now, coming to New York, things like that. Now, in the very present moment, away from
Mhm.
2020, 2021, 2022, where do you feel like you are in the clothing of what you're doing, like what you're making? What are you working on pretty much? And where do you feel like you're going? You know, where do you feel like the direction is right now?
Right, that's a good question. Right now I feel like I've been working like crazy for like my this corporate job, so like that's kind of been taking a lot of my time, a lot of like what I really want to do. But I have everything kind of like my plans for the next like 5 6 months. I have it all like mapped out, like in terms of like what I want to drop, what I want to do with my site, like who I want to work with, because I have a lot of little collabs and things that like in the works that I've been talking to people about.
Mm-hmm.
So like I guess like in the next like 5 6 months, I like where I'm at right now is just I'm really just trying to get good with like the technical stuff, like Photoshop and Illustrator, which I'm already using, but I'm really trying to just like get good with that. I'm trying to like set up like a screen printing shop like in my room. Like I'm trying to set all my equipment up so I can really just like, because the summer I'm just trying to print mad shirts, so I'm trying to set that up. I got so many designs. I got a notebook. I got literally I got like 3 4 notebooks just full of like different bullshit. Like I got so much stuff. Like all these notebooks have stuff in them. So like I got mad different designs, mad different notes, mad different crazy like photo shoot ideas, mad like collabs I'm trying to do, like mad like little pop up events. I got a lot of things planned that I'm trying to do for the next 4 or 5 months. Like I'm doing this pop up on Saturday, so that's gonna be like fun. I'm gonna do that, so we're gonna see how that goes. My first pop up ever,
Yeah,
first pop
talk
up.
about that. How did that come to be? I saw the poster.
Yeah. So like, so like Jade. First of all, shout out Bar Jade. It's like a local bar in like Bushwick, Bed-Stuy area. They've been around for some years now, but I think they got some new ownership like a couple of years back, so it's really got a lot more like young and like vibrant and stuff like that. And they have a lot of cool like bartenders, DJs, and it's a very small, intimate like dive bar. It's like right off the train, and like it's a very like community space. Like everybody that goes regulars there like knows each other, so it's just a good vibe. And I felt like it was a good place to kind of. And they do a lot of different events, so like and they've never had a pop up before. So and then as I talked to the owner one day, one of the owners, shout out Patty. I talked to Patty one day. I was in there and I was telling her about my brand. She's like, "Yo, you could do a pop up here," and I was like, "Yo, like that's a good idea." So like I kind of just kept that in my brain, in the back of my head, and then like I remember like probably like a month or two later, once I kind of like, 'cause I think I was in the process of like getting a new job, but once I had my new job, and I was like, "Yo, like let me circle back around to this." So like I hit her up and I was like, "Yo, like can I still do the pop up?" She's like, "Yeah, like for sure." So I reached out to her. Um, got like reached out to a few of my friends who are like DJs and other designers. So I'm gonna have a couple other designers there too. Reached out to them and I was like, "Yo, like let's do this event together. I'm thinking about throwing something. Are you guys down?" And everybody I hit up was like with it. And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So like I kind of put these little pieces together kind of quick, and then I just kind of like put everything together and I coordinated. I've been coordinating with her about this thing probably for like the last 2 months or so. So like I put everything together, got the details right, like did everything on my end, make sure everything was like checked out, and then like I have no clue what I'm doing, but I hope it. We're gonna see how it goes. Like, and I've been trying to promote it, market it, so it's been going well. But like, I'm just really trying to get my brand more visibility, because like I remember when I first moved out here, like I had my clothes in a couple of stores and stuff like that. I had a few looks here and there. Like sometimes people would reach out to me, but what I'm really working on now is just the visibility of my brand. So I'm really focusing on like besides like what I'm gonna actually put out, I'm really focusing on just like doing it like in-person events, like marketing,
Real
like
world
social media
shit.
stuff. Yeah, like I'm just trying to push my brand out there because I know it's my clothes are like I know my shit is like my shit is there. Not to toot my own horn, but like I know my shit is good. It's just like I gotta get it out. Like I gotta get it on the right eyes. And like I have random people reach out to me all the time, but it's like I just need like I need like a consistent funnel of like I'm just trying to build that audience. I'm really just trying to build my audience. So I guess that's to answer your question. Like I'm just really just trying to build that audience
Hell
and just
yeah.
get better with everything.
Hell yeah, man. And it's good to know that you have a bunch of ideas, backed up, ready to go for the next four or
Yeah,
five
yes,
months. And
sir.
it's cool to see that you're doing real world shit already. So, like, I wouldn't even say soon on because you've been doing this shit for quite some years. But a first pop up, man, I feel like it takes people a long time. Like, even sometimes, like clothing. I feel like clothing brands and clothing is so much like of a slower burn than
Yeah, for
film or
sure.
music because it's not so much more about a personality like a singular individual. It's more so about like it's like paintings almost like a canvas art.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so with that, man, I think like you're on a good incline and like you're making very like good quick progress. So like congratulations. I think that's dope.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm in the cold streets in New York trying to get it done because out here is it's crazy out here trying to having a brand. It's competitive. Like people are crazy. People are weird. Like I've all these little like little fashion heads and all these little like designers. Like I've been around all of them. Anybody you can think of, I've been around them in some type of setting. And like a lot of them are just weirdos, bro. Like and a lot of their things are like once you get around them, it's like they're just it's not coming from a good place. So I try to
Right.
kind of like I kind of try to like just have my things be organic. The people that I meet, organic relationships, just try to like just be that same person I always been. Like I'm not gonna do no shit that wouldn't align with who I am, or I'm not, I won't get into detail, but I'm sure you can imagine. Like I've just seen being out here and being in this little scene. Like I've just seen a lot of things, like and been
There's a
involved
lot
with a lot
of
of people.
there's a lot
Yeah,
of
it gets
people like
crazy. It's crazy. It
bro.
gets crazy.
I don't even consider myself like a part of a scene. I just know people. That's just like how I
Right,
carry
right, right.
myself. And but when bro, I be hearing so much shit about so many different people, and it's not even like hearing
Man.
shit like people talking shit or anything like that. You be on socials, you see people's stories, you see
Yeah, that's what
people
I'm
saying shit,
saying.
and you're
Man,
like,
that's what I'm
I want to keep
saying.
my space.
Bro,
Trust
I'm
me.
telling you.
There, and then there's also like from a professional aspect, like I don't know about you, but like even me as a podcaster, musician, or whatever, like I feel like my opinions about music and community things are valid because I'm involved in those things. How you are with clothes and shit like that. It's just like sometimes you see people and they're not very careful or very respectful towards the craft, or they're not doing
Right.
it for the right reasons, kind of like what you said earlier. And you're like, I want to keep away from you. So I
Yeah,
fuck with that
oh
message,
God,
man.
oh God, oh God. It's a rat race out here, and I'm trying to be the cat, not the rat.
Right, exactly.
I get cat not the rat. So that's how I look at it. I try to any of that drama stuff, all that allegations, all that keep me away from that, man. Keep me keep me
Yeah.
keep me far. Keep me far. I'm not even from out here. I only it's only my third day out here. I don't,
I don't know, yo,
I
facts.
don't know what's going on, bro. But I mean, we gonna make it. I'm gonna jump through the politics. It's politics. It's all politics out here. So like I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to get through the politics. So we making it work. I'm gonna fight through the. I'm gonna battle the demons.
Yeah, man. I like how you carry yourself, man, and I respect that. Like you're very genuine with how you carry your work and yourself and your just the company you keep and stuff. I respect
Right.
that. Um, Before we move towards like the wrap up and stuff, like more towards the end of the podcast, I would want to ask you if there's anything that I didn't touch on or ask about or talk about that you feel should be covered in this episode because this is your episode, your podcast. However you want to be presented, just let me know.
I don't know. I think you're doing a really good job. Honestly, like you're doing a really. I think you asked like all the questions you asked were kind of went into each other. Like they kind of went into the next question, and then they kind of like they're forcing me to touch on everything because of the way you framed it. So I think honestly you've been. It's not nothing I can really think of top of my head that um I don't know that you didn't ask. Like I think it's good. I think you covered a lot of the bases. I think I got a lot of. I was able to get a lot of things out.
Yeah, you honestly, bro, honestly, what you did was you made my job a lot easier because I was just like, I gave you the trademark question, which is kind of like a open-ended question, so people could take it however they want it, and you
Mhm.
just like answered so many other questions I would have had to end up asking
Right,
anyway.
right, right,
So it just
right.
works out real nice like that, man. That was great.
Right, right,
But
right. Try.
okay, cool. So now with the end of the pod being here, we kind of covered all things. I set this nice timeline for the persona brand. We got the beginning, the present, and a little into the future. And so now I want to ask kind of what you got going on in the next day, week, month, year, century, decade, millennium or so. And it doesn't have to be even creative involved. It could be what you're eating for breakfast tomorrow. I just pretty much what you want to know. We want to know what you got going on.
What I got going on, honestly, like I just want to create things, and I want to I guess I kind of said this before, but I just kind of want to get more visibility, like for the brand, and just I want to grow my brand to bigger. I'm not really, and I guess another thing I should have said is that like because a lot of people ask me to like about like fashion shows or like doing this or doing that. Like there's certain things that I'm just kind of like it's not that deep to me. Like I don't care about like having a runway show or like having this outlet. Like some things are just kind of like I just want to create. Like
Right.
it's not that complicated for me. Like it's not that serious. Like I just want to be able to make what I want to make. That's the thing. That's the part I enjoy is the creative process. Like all that extra like runway and all that fashion, even fashion week. I'm like, bro, like I'm tired. Like I'm going to sleep, bro. So I'm not even for all the theatrics. Like I'm good, but honestly, I just want my brand to be visible and just grow it. And then got the pop up coming up. I know I brought that up. I'm gonna keep pushing and promoting that. Got the pop up, and then in terms of the next few months, years, whatever the case is, I just really want to. There's a lot of things in New York that I haven't done yet that I really want to be able to do, like collab with certain other brands. Like I got a lot of cool collabs. I'm trying to like people I got on my radar. Like I'm like I need to collab with them. Like events I want to throw things I want to put out like crazy photo shoots, crazy like videos I want to put out like content, like little short films. Like there's so many things I want to do that I haven't even got close to touching yet. So like there's just so much things that I got a long like hill to climb, but I'm gonna get it all done. And then over the next few years, I feel like I just kind of want to like stand. Like I probably won't be in New York the rest of my life, but like I would say the next immediate couple years or so I'll be here. Maybe I was thinking about going down to Atlanta for a bit because I got some heads and they got a good scene down there. So I've been thinking about
ATO.
that. Yeah, yeah, on God, like they got some stuff going. So I've been thinking about going there, and then once and like I said before, I just want to get beyond clothes. I want to like create things. Like I want to like make literally make things like just from my brain and just put it into action. Like I really just want to like way beyond way beyond clothes. Like clothes is just my outlet right now. Clothes is just it's just the easiest way for me to express like my creativeness. Like it's the easiest medium for me to express my creative. That's why I do it. It's because like, I can dish it out. I can make a design. I can, and because I used to make music a lot too, and I really like making music. I want to get back into it, but um, the theory I had is kind of like there's a lot of people rapping, but not everybody's making clothes. So it's like it's just a different way to kind of like show my creativeness, and then so like I'm just really focused on just like putting good quality stuff out, just like collabing with people, like just seeing how crazy I can get with it, like breaking more rules, like whatever I can do, and then like I just want to like just really build it. I want to build like an empire with the brand. I just want to like go crazy. I'm trying to, and then like leading even way farther down the line when I'm like dead and gone. Like I'm just trying to like be like a martyr of the arts, bro. Like I remember some funny shit like on my Hinge profile. I put like what did I put? I was like it's like a prompt on Hinge that it's like um what does it say? It's like where do you see yourself or something? And I put like some cheesy. I was like like I want my art to leave an impact on the world. Like I said, some cheesy thing like that, bro. But the shorties be eating it up though. They be loving that. They be loving that. But like, I put that and then like, but that really like as corny as that is, like it really is how I feel. Like I want to just like be like a martyr of the arts type thing. Like I just want to like when I'm dead and gone, I want to like people like money. I don't really care about. Like I'm not really like I want to make money off my brand, but it's not a focus for me. Like it's not like I have a full-time job. Like I want clothes to be my thing full time, but for now, it's like I'm just trying to balance the two. But like I'm not doing it for money. Like I always say, like if you're doing something strictly for money, you're not doing it for the right reasons. You know what I mean? If
Right.
there's no passion behind it, then you're dead in the water. You're dead in the
Yeah,
water. So
I agree.
so I'm a big believer in that. So I'm just gonna try to keep pushing the brand and going crazy. And I really just want to be remembered for some shit. Like when I'm gone, I just want people to remember, like, yo, that kid, like he did some historic shit. Like he's goated. Like he on the Mount Rushmore. Like
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. I
that's
like
yeah,
that. I like that, and I think people get too fixated on numbers. Like I think people get too fixated on money, like you said, when I think, it's just about making an impact, making a change, evolving. And also, like, I don't know, personally as well, like coming at from a creator's point of view, I like, respect, like from my peers, which kind of
right.
goes in with making that impact and stuff. But I like that, man. I think that's awesome. So now, with the final question stated, we finished the pod. Episode done. But now we have an outro. It goes a little like this. This was the Cult of Personality podcast hosted by yours truly, Mikeymcchoppa. And with us today was our boy Zeke, also aka Persona, aka Personally I Don't Care, aka Poland Spring on deck.
Yes,
And we're
sir.
here, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for sitting with me
Thanks
for
for
the last
having me.
hour
Thanks
or
for having
so.
me. I enjoyed it. I had fun. Thanks for having me.
Man, I've been trying to,
You gotta come
space
to the
out.
and you gotta come to the pop up too. If you're in the city, come to the pop up.
I'll
Come to
try.
the
I'll
pop up.
try. When
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah. Saturday. It's Saturday. This Saturday coming up. It's from 5 to 9. So not too early, not too late.
Okay.
My boy Ant will be there too. So yeah, definitely pull up.
Yeah, I saw
Definitely pull
that
up.
poster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
try
yeah.
to pull up. I'll try to pull up.
If you
Uh,
can, if you can make it.
it's I'm going out tomorrow, so if I'm not too fucked up the next day over,
Yeah, that's why I try to make it at night. It's at 5, so we'll see. Yeah, let me know if
yeah.
anything for sure.
Hell yeah. Bro, thank you again. Thank you guys all who watch and listen on the YouTubes and SoundClouds and stuff for sitting for the last hour or so. I'm having a lot of fun doing these episodes, man. Thank you again. You made this episode like a glide. It was like butter, like that, you know?
Yes, sir, that's the point.
Anywho, peace out, peace, love, and hair grease, peace in the Middle East, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next week. And then we finish the recording like this.